Let's talk about Thornton Township. Because even with Tiffany Henyard out of the picture, the drama is far from over, and the money trail still looking real suspicious. Let's start with the trustees. Mary Avant, Chris Gonzalez, Valeria Stubbs, and Byron Stanley. On paper, each of them is pulling in $14,710 a year. But here's the problem. Only one of them is actually supposed to be making that much. According to the township's own salary schedule, Gonzalez, in his second term, gets the $14,710. The others, Avant, Stubbs, and Stanley, are first-term trustees, which means their pay should be $11,195. That's $3,515 too much per trustee. Do the math. And that's over $10,000 of taxpayer money sliding into the wrong pockets every single year. Somebody explain how that adds up. Now let's talk about Robert Hunt, the township's finance director. Somehow, this guy has managed to survive both the Henyard and Zuccarelli administrations and is still planted firmly in his seat with a cool $116,455 salary. While everyone else is pointing fingers, he's cashing six-figure checks without breaking a sweat. When a resident recently asked for details on the township's tentative budget, Hunt didn't step up. Instead, he passed the buck to clerk Casey Nesbitt. But wait, if he's the finance director, isn't that literally his job? Why is the money man dodging questions about the money? It's giving, I know too much, and I'm not trying to go down with the ship. Speaking of clerk Casey Nesbitt, she's pulling $17,825 a year while also serving as the township's FOIA officer. When asked if her salary matches the official pay schedule, she confidently said yes, then sent over a document that only listed her own salary, not the full salary schedule, just hers. That's like turning in your homework with nothing but your name on it and saying, see? Done. Sketchy at best, laughable at worst. Then we've got Highway Commissioner Antoine Russell. According to the rules, a first-term commissioner should make $17,825. But Russell? He's raking in $27,519. That's nearly $10,000 more than the position allows, and nobody's batting an eye. Meanwhile, Township Assessor Cassandra Stahn is making $53,716 a year. No one's questioned her salary yet, but given the track record here, should we really just assume it's clean? And let's not forget about Heath Price. Yeah, the guy running the Harvey Food Pantry. Former Henyard insider. Back in the day, he was loud, confrontational, always in the middle of the action. But now, he's gone quiet. Approachable, even. Why? Maybe because that $72,219 paycheck has a way of calming a person down. The food pantry gig seems like the perfect hiding spot. Still collecting healthy checks, just without the Facebook Live rants. Some folks say he's still moving like Henyard's shadow, just a quieter version. All of this just adds more gasoline to the fire. If Henyard was the only problem, then why are these shady salary discrepancies still going on without her? It forces a bigger question. How many people were really complicit in the mismanagement of township funds? Tiffany definitely created her share of disasters, and no one's defending her mess. But what if some of those wild accusations she made, the ones we laughed off as Tiffany being Tiffany, actually had truth in them? What if she was just the loudest voice in a room full of corruption? And let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. There's a public hearing coming up Tuesday, July 22nd at 5 p.m., where they'll review budget proposals for the Thornton Township General Fund, General Assistance, and the Road and Bridge Fund. That's your money. If you live there, those are your tax dollars, being spent wisely or being burned. Either way, it's the perfect time to show up, speak out, and demand answers. Because clearly, something hasn't been adding up for a long time. Now, let's rewind to the Napoleon Harris saga. Remember the big rally at the gym? The one where they locked Tiffany out and she cried foul? She swore she and her crew were banned from the event like they were trying to sneak into some VIP section. We all rolled our eyes like, girl, stop. But guess what? They won. Napoleon Harris got exactly what he was after. Now, he's sitting on a pile of taxpayer cash. Over $200,000 from the township alone, not even counting his $89,000 state salary. The man's eating good. While everyone else is counting pennies, Napoleon's dining first class. No questions asked. So what does that tell you about the system? Tiffany's gone, but the money games haven't stopped. In fact, some of them have gotten bolder. Salaries are off, accountability's missing, and the people in charge? More interested in passing the buck than answering the tough questions. It's like a never-ending game of musical chairs. Only the same people keep grabbing the same seats, cashing the same checks. Here's the kicker. The loudest voices who dragged Tiffany from misusing township funds are now silent. Where's that same energy? Where's the outrage over these salaries that don't line up? Where's the transparency? If this was ever about protecting public funds, shouldn't we be just as loud now? Or was it never about accountability at all? Just about controlling who holds a purse? And to the folks pushing false narratives, especially the ones aiming straight at black women in leadership, check yourselves. This cycle of tearing down one person, just to replace them with someone doing the same thing but quieter, isn't progress. It's political theater. And some of you who rode that anti-Tiffany wave straight into Napoleon Harris's camp, congratulations, you're about to get front row seats to the next scandal. And to whoever thought it was a good idea to publicly thank Tiffany Henyard, please have several seats. If you're going to praise someone, at least make sure they left the place better than they found it. Otherwise, you just sound ridiculous. Thank you for your service. For what? Lavish trips on the township's dime. For gutting the budget while allies covered tracks? Come on now. This isn't just about one corrupt official. It's about a culture of unchecked power, quiet greed, and leaders who refuse to lead. Thornton Township isn't a punchline. It's a warning. Because if people don't start asking the hard questions and showing up to these meetings, don't be shocked when your tax dollars vanish into someone else's administrative expense. So yeah, we'll be watching that budget hearing closely, and we'll be watching Napoleon Harris and Robert Hunt and Casey Nesbitt and every other official suddenly allergic to transparency. Because if Tiffany Henyard taught us anything, it's this: the people talk. And when they talk long enough, the truth always comes out.